Here's a weekly update to tell you about the news the fake news media doesn't like to talk about. Dr. Fauci admits his wearing masks indoors despite being vaccinated is based purely on imagery, not science. He said, quote, "I didn't want to look like I was giving mixed signals, but being a fully vaccinated person, the chances of my getting infected in an indoor setting is extremely low," unquote. Continuing on the fakeness from the Fauci sector, PolitiFact admitted Senator Rand Paul was right and that Fauci lied to Congress. U.S. grant funding was used for gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab on bat coronaviruses. And speaking of Wuhan labs, on Twitter we see truths like this now. Now that lab leak has more or less gained complete mainstream acceptance as a plausible COVID origin theory. Please look at this post with examples of how arrogant journalists deceptively colluded throughout 2020 to dismiss the theory as debunked on the basis of, quote, "jack shit," unquote, from Michael Tracy on Twitter. Follow him for identifying the media liars consistently and daily. In New York City, the subway returns to 24-hour service 1 year after the pandemic shut down. But the New York Police Department has deployed an extra 250 officers to combat huge surges in violent crime. In China and other places, the coalitions of Uyghurs, Tibetans, and Hong Kongers call for boycotting of the Beijing Olympics, and so do many Americans. Go to genocidegames.org, that's genocidegames.org, to send a message to the President of the United States. In Texas, it had its first day of zero COVID-19 deaths this week, in spite of being labeled Neanderthal thinkers for dropping mask requirements and other types of requirements by the President of the United States. And of course, the whistleblower, ex-Space Force commander, super officer, DOD videos claimed white people are inherently evil, and he is exactly right. Quote, "Critical race theory is an extremist ideology based in another extremist ideology, Marxism," unquote. The Defense Secretary ordered the military to combat extremism in the force, and this officer that was fired is doing exactly that. The CDC finally ended the mask mandate recommendation for vaccinated people. My final word? Boycott businesses that require masks or ask for your private medical information like vaccination status. Sign the petition at stopvaxpassports.org to send a message to national leaders that we're not going to allow it.